Elon Musk has basically declared war on the SPLC, and he basically, so yesterday, right, was the ADL's day, and today has become the SPLC's day, and it's so prescient, and Elon Musk is really driving this train. Yesterday we saw the FBI sever their relationship with the ADL, and a number of people, including the great Greek, he's a demigod, really, Pericles Periabasi of Chicago, who was proudly married to a woman, by the way, alpha male. And he dug up the fact that not only was the ADL going after a Turning Point, but he dug up the fact, and Elon has actually just retweeted this, that on the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the SPLC included him and Turning Point USA in their monthly Hate Watch newsletter. And he wrote, the SPLC has blood on their hands. So that's great, Perry Abbasi. I started tweeting about that. Andrew started tweeting about that. And then, Andrew, you found a tweet. And this is what's so crazy, because we said ADL was number one and SPLC was number two. Yeah. You found a tweet from someone from a couple years ago. Who was that, and what was that tweet?
This was great. This was from Charlie. And the date was, I think we have this tweet, guys. I just flagged it for him just to make sure they get it. But it says, whatever it was in the past, today the ADL is a hate group that dons a religious mask to justify stoking hatred of the left's enemies. There it is right there. I believe in the First Amendment and free speech as a principle, regardless of what the law says. I don't want to ban anyone's speech, but the ADL has no place extorting X, Twitter, or any other social media companies, nor should it dictate to federal law enforcement agencies what hate speech is. The ADL itself is America's #1 purveyor of hate speech, parenthesis, and the SPLC is number 2.
So for those that don't know, there are a network of nonprofits, foundations, or organizations that do a multitude of things. The Anti-Defamation League is one, ADL. The Southern Poverty Law Center, the other. They do effectively the same thing. They smear people on the right. They accuse them of being the worst possible monsters or hateful or white supremacists. This is used to incite run-of-the-mill default libs who don't know better. Because what will happen is you'll get some corporate news outlet, and they'll say, Jack Posobiec, comma, who was called a white supremacist by the Southern Poverty Law Center, comma, says X. Mm-hmm. They can inject that into articles, and then what happens? Wikipedia editors will cite the corporate press saying, Jack Posobiec is a known white supremacist, and they'll link to the corporate press. It's how they launder fake news, smears, and manipulations. So when Elon is saying they incited people to murder Charlie Kirk, he is correct.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what they are doing, it's not just smearing people. They associate people with the KKK and neo-Nazis. So when they started attacking me in 2010, they were able to get a group of all the We Are Change chapters all around the world, groups that I didn't even know existed. And they're like, okay, here's We Are Change, here's the KKK, and here's where the KKK is located, and here's a We Are Change chapter. And I'm like, what do I have to do with the KKK or the neo-Nazis? But they lumped it in, and this is where the conversation got really violent. It started in 2010, and then they started to do a Patriot hit list, and they put me on there, they put Ron Paul on there, they put Alex Jones on there, and they said, watch out for these dangerous guys. And then they went to federal and local law enforcement, and they said, keep track of these guys, spy on these guys. In 2018, they officially partnered with YouTube. In 2019, they officially partnered with PayPal, and they censored individuals who had different opinions. All I was doing is raising questions and asking questions about 9/11, working with family members, but that was somehow equated to being a neo-Nazi and working with the KKK.
And I'll give a great example of this. So you mentioned 2010, and here we are, it's 2025. In 2014, do you know who the SPLC added to their extremist hate watch list? Dr. Ben Carson.
Yep.
Ben Carson in 2014.
The sweetest man you've ever met.
The sweet, I remember him, at the memorial just ranting and raving, spreading his hatred and I mean, and then what was it? It was because, here he comes in as a Christian. He was standing in defense of traditional marriage, which of course is a core Christian belief, of just very basic Christian belief about marriage. And they named him an extremist because of this.
So to your point, and this is 100% right, they can just basically willy-nilly label anybody, right? And then you mentioned, Tim, that they launder this through. So go ahead and I just today, because I was Googling it, I was like, Charlie Kirk, SPLC. Oh.
Wait, are we doing a line change already? Are we line changing?
Not yet.
No.
That's funny.
Why is that music playing for some reason?
Idea.
I don't know.
Why would they? That's very bigoted.
Something must be wrong in the
That's
production.
very bigoted.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on
It's
there.
okay, though.
It's
Panthers
better
have
than
been
the.
racist.
Anyway,
get
so
there.
I Google Charlie Kirk
Our
SPLC.
original producers got deported, so
It's true. Well, I'm the token Hispanic on the. I'm quarter Mexican. People
You're
don't
quarter
know this.
Mexican?
People don't know this. Yeah, my grandpa said we were Spanish, though. It's a long story. Thank you. Yes. That was actually well done. Better job on the second one. All right.
wait,
So,
why did you start wiggling when that song came on?
I can't help it.
It's
It's-
a
it's-
website.
Yeah.
I changed their hate watch list to enemies of the leftist revolution, just so that people understood what they were actually trying to say.
No, that's exactly right.
That's exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I just Googled this. So throw this up. Throw 347 up. And I found this. This is literally, I Googled it. Charlie Kirk, SPLC. This is the second article, Tim. And it's Charlie Kirk, white supremacist, dead at 31. Second article that if you just Google Charlie Kirk, SPLC. And then, of course, go to 348. You look at it, and it's like, a cornerstone of supremacist logic. And they link to the SPLC. So do you see how they do it? They just, and by the way, this has been seen, I guess, 30,000 times about.
Well, and then what happened in May?
Yeah, well, in May, I mean, of course, and actually, this is Elon Musk gave me a retweet tonight, or a quote tweet.
Let's go.
And
by the way, thank you to Elon, seriously,
yeah.
for taking on this fight. He doesn't have to do this. And he didn't have to take on the ADL. He didn't have to buy X. He didn't have to come out here. But it was the right thing to do. And he's even, and I just got to say thank you on a personal level as well, because David Sachs had tweeted a thread out earlier today saying that, look, when you Google Stephen Miller, the very first thing that comes up is the SPLC. If you Google Jack Posobiec, the very first thing that comes up is the SPLC. Yeah. And there's no rhyme or reason for this whatsoever. It's not like people are linking back to it, but it's always there. So Elon not only tweeted it out, he also put in the comments, he CC'd Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, and is like, what's going on?
Well,
here?
I mean, listen, if ever there is a time to get vehemently pissed off about this stuff, they just murdered Charlie,
the man who should be sitting in this chair right now, tonight.
This chair. And I can't tell you that the assassin read the SPLC hate map article about Turning Point that was added in May, but what I can tell you is that it contributes to an ecosystem of radicalism. And Tim, we talked about this on your show earlier this week. It is a they. It is a they, right? Yes, the assassin is personally responsible, but it is a they because it's part of an ecosystem of radicalization, and you're seeing it in the polling where 30% of progressives between the age of 18 and 39 believe that violence is totally justifiable politically.
Well, because it's one movement, and that's the issue. It's often described very interestingly, what is the left and the right? And you can be you take a look at some of these people in the space. Joe Rogan's a great example. He's a bit of a lefty. He's the example, right? And they call him right-wing or far-right because he's not in the cult. So when you see AOC on the House floor disparaging and smearing Charlie Kirk, she is proselytizing her to her cult. She is giving a sermon to her fake non-theistic this non-theistic religion. They are adherents to it. Mm-hmm. When you go to their meetings, their protests, they say, respect the diversity of tactics. What that means is we are all part of one movement.
That's right.
And here's the real secret. What they're actually saying, they'll go in and say, no, look, here's the thing. The other activists that come here and want to find a way to change the world may not agree with you, but we're fighting for the same cause, so let them do it. What they're not telling you, those guys over there work for us. Mm-hmm. They're telling you, you don't have to feel bad about the violence they commit. They're a different group. They're not. That's the game.
Maybe you guys know this, but did the FBI cut their ties with the SPLC? Because they've been working with them for an extremely long time. And if there ever was a time and opportunity to cut ties with the SPLC, it is now. But I want to go further.
I know that is one of the action items that we're calling for. We're calling for the FBI. We're calling for Amazon Smile. And any other federal law enforcement or any of these organizations.
But we should take it further, not just to stop working with them, but I want disclosures. I want to know who the ADL was working with on the FBI with to spy on what commentator, on what personality, what work were they doing? And if Kash Patel is listening, I hope he does full disclosures, not just cutting off the ties.
And believe it or not, so when everyone remembers the the huge scandal for Catholics that the that the FBI was surveilling and investigating and infiltrating Catholic groups that were, praying the rosary a little bit too hard, and how it was completely insane. It became this national scandal. That operation was shut down when Kash Patel got in, thank God. But one thing that people missed, and Elon actually just quote tweeted me because I was pulling up some of my old reporting, that investigation was predicated on an SPLC report about Catholics. So they used an SPLC article as a quote unquote, what Luke is saying here is 100% correct. And this is just a very famous example that people have to understand where this stuff comes from. So the SPLC writes the article, then the FBI sees it and says, oh my gosh, we have to start an investigation. Then they get approval to start infiltrating Catholic churches.
And spying and tracking and doing all these illegal things.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.